podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build and run a SaaS. I'm Brian.
And I'm Benedikt. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we work on our products and keep the lights on by raking leaves in the neighborhood. Today is March 24, and I feel like I'm back on track.
This is episode number 34, and I'm feeling rested.
Oh, rested. That's also nice.
That's been an interesting experience through all this. So you getting some time to do some yard work, settling into work from home life?
I probably should if I look outside, but I haven't so far. But yeah, I should mow the lawn and maybe rake some leaves. But for now it's okay, I guess.
Yeah. My wife was over the weekend out there cutting things back and moving some things around, and we're getting ready for that any week now.
Start. Weather has been really nice, at least like sunshine and stuff, but it's super cold. Like we had -1 degree Celsius earlier today, so below freezing point. Mm-hmm. So that was like it looks super warm and like summer, and or at least like spring, and then you get outside and freeze to death.
We've done pretty good. We've had some pretty sunny days, and the snow melted it back down. So we've been getting out for some walks around the neighborhood, playing in the backyard, that sort of thing, trying to keep everybody moving and happy. But so you feeling back on track? Are you like giving yourself some space to not feel ultra productive every day? How's that feeling?
Last week was a tough one. It felt like I didn't get anything done, and I felt a little bit depressed and down last week. And like, I really enjoyed last week's episode. That was one of the highlights of the week for sure. And like, I started working from home on Wednesday. Basically, took all my stuff home from the office, at least some stuff like my keyboard, my mouse, and stuff like that. And luckily, it was a coincidence. We got new desks for the office at home early last week, so I set them up, and now I'm slowly having a proper office at home. On Saturday, I brought my recording gear from the office, and today I finally received a super expensive dongle from Apple to be able to reuse my old Thunderbolt display with the new MacBook. But I figured getting a dongle is cheaper than getting a new display.
By just a little.
Just a little bit, yeah. But and that's coming together. So that's coming together, and on Friday we're probably getting new chairs for the office. So it's a lucky coincidence that we started planning this a little bit ahead of time, and now we are basically it's not really a lockdown, but it's discouraged to go outside, and I think gatherings of more than 2 people are prohibited. So you can meet someone, but it has to be like just one person. And they basically don't want you to. That's the situation on our side. What about you? Like, what's happening?
Well, I woke up to the news that Boulder and Denver are instituting shelter-in-place restrictions, and so I don't even know exactly what that means yet. Meaning, like, are you allowed to go to the grocery store? How many times per week? Like, what exactly does that mean, shelter in place? We've basically been doing that voluntarily. We've gone out to, like go for a bike ride or something like that. But that it feels pretty weird now. It has felt like we've been doing that, like I said, voluntarily, but now for it to be, government mandated feels like
Hmm.
an additional level of reality.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so but I mean, I will say, um, the kids have been home from school for a week and a half now. They're doing exceptionally well with this. I mean, they have their questions, moments of uncertainty and anxiety, just like the grown-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but we're just playing a ton of games. I've been like started a D&D campaign with my daughters, and they are just like loving it. We actually have time to do it because we're not running from thing to thing. And yeah, and I know that I'm going to get bored of this, but one thing that has happened for me is that I just feel so incredibly rested by
Hmm.
how simple the last week and a half or so has been.
So
Um,
you're already seeing upsides to all of this.
I mean, I think obviously it is one of the most terrible, global events that that is even continuing to be ongoing. Um, I think what it has revealed for me is kind of this confirmation of, yeah, I just don't really love the pace that we had, settled ourselves into. Um, and that just, and especially like with, when the kids start rolling into like middle school age, and like the number of activities we have,
Mm.
like it's it's all it what are you supposed to do with it? You don't want your kids to not participate in things and have experiences, etc., etc. But goodness gracious, it gets tiring. Is anybody else tired by this? Yes, we're all tired of it. Okay, what do we do? I don't know. Just keep going. um, so yeah, it's just this odd thing, that has completely been confirmed for me. But anyway, yeah, we're playing a ton of board games as a family. We from my daughter's birthday, was like last week, and so we converted the kitchen into New York City because she was supposed to go to New York City. And so we
That's
hung like
cool.
posters everywhere, playbills, NYC like props, like New York Statue of Liberty stuff. And one thing I did was, because we don't really have a big TV on the main level, let's put a, a TV in the kitchen and just set up a walking tour of Manhattan for her birthday. And then like when we took down all the decorations, we were like, hey, who wants to walk somewhere? And so we've just left it there. And so like walking through the Berlin Zoo, walking through like random places in Thailand and Lagos, Nigeria, and it's just like it's been this really cool, constant like thing of motion and movement and humanity. I told you on Twitter, we queued up Darmstadt as well. I was like, yeah, that's a beautiful city. I want to visit now more than ever. Anyway, so that's all to say.
Did you already watch
That's
it?
yes, yeah. That one was a
Nice.
short one. I think that one was like 30 something minutes long.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
not
think
that
I just
big.
I just kind of had it like running through lunchtime one time. Yeah, there are some that are like 4 hours long. It's really cool.
Wow.
um, and not that we just like sit down and just like veg and watch it. It's just like it's just always there, and like you walk through. Hey, where are we now? Where's this? So we're making the most of it and just trying to keep things dynamic, and yeah, and it's been all right so far.
That's cool. I really like the idea of with the walking tours.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah, that's one like it's a way to visit without actually leaving the house.
Yeah, yeah, just reminds
And
you.
it's probably also better than just watching a documentary or something because like you only get the highlight reel in the documentaries and the walking tours. Like
Hmm.
I didn't even know this was a thing before you
Yeah.
mentioned it, and I watched this video. But it's like, yeah, you're really there and like see all the even the not so nice places and get a
Yep.
feeling for the place.
Yep.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Totally. I really do. I highly recommend if you can like put a TV in a common area that you just find yourself walking back and forth through and just let it run. It's just this
Yeah.
weird fun little thing that's like, "Oh, that's delightful. Where's this? Oh, interesting." Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. How's your
Well,
job hunt going, if I may ask?
you can. So I had an interview with Mozilla um, yesterday, and looks like that'll proceed to a next round. Actually, probably tomorrow. And let's see, a couple other. Yeah, I got an email back from another potential that I couldn't. I just honestly couldn't tell if it was like, is this a form letter that you just generically send back to everybody, or are we like, what's the deal here? And a couple others that are still just kind of like floating in, um, next steps, but seem to be in some kind of a holding pattern, potentially. So, um, yeah, that's where that's at. I'm like doing my
Cool.
best to just double down on the clients that I do have right now that are still active. Um, Kind of anticipating that there will be hiring freezes. Yeah, I think just like really not taking any of that for granted and wondering if, yeah, okay, that decision has been to a very large degree completely taken out of my hands. I can continue to pursue it, but it's probably not the wisest thing to like full-time job search right now. That would have been smart
Mm-hmm.
before. Um, and like lean on the savings a little bit and give this 4 to 6 weeks to play out. That was smart before, but it feels like conditions have suggested that no, 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 no. Take extremely good care of your clients who are funded and who like you, um,
Yeah.
and keep the job thing moving along, but be realistic here. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
But so far, no rejections in the term of like we're not hiring anyone right now. Thanks for applying, but yeah, that opening is no longer open. Stuff like that. That didn't happen yet.
There hasn't been one that has said rejection. This position is no longer open as a result of the global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there have certainly been. Thank you so much for your interest. We've decided to move forward with different candidates at this time. I mean, that has happened for sure. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
numbers
Yeah.
it's a numbers game, but none of them have said, that we're no longer hiring for that position. Um, but whether or not
I
that
guess
like,
that's
go ahead.
yeah.
What?
I guess that's encouraging that so far it seems like it's not imploding. Like the job market isn't entirely imploding, at least for
Well,
those types of jobs.
I mean,
You're
I
not
think
sure
it's
about
gonna.
that? Okay.
I think it's gonna. You know, it'll take a couple cycles for it to reverberate to knowledge working jobs. I mean, it's bankrupting restaurants and cafes at the moment, and it'll work its way through. Like, I don't know. I don't want to sound fatalistic or anything, but I think that the next year of life is going to be very, very, very different. And
Probably, yeah.
I think a lot of people are still waiting for like the all clear and we can go back to normal. And I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think there will be a okay, no, it's over, go back to normal in the next couple of weeks. I think it will be uh, hopefully it will be a transition period.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we never
Mm-hmm.
get back to the old normal, who knows.
Yeah. 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 Well, how about you? What are you working on and how are you feeling? And What's up?
Yeah, as I said, a lot better than last week. I I barely got stuff done last week. Mostly like small tasks that took an hour or so, and then I can like be done with it and think about other stuff and get distracted and stuff like that. Because like focused work was like I tried a couple times, but it was near impossible to get anything like a longer stretch of focused work done because there was
Yeah.
always I don't know my mind was wandering to
Yeah.
apocalyptic scenarios all the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, and this week is a lot better in that regard. I feel like maybe it's because like I mean there could be like a total ban of like going doing grocery shopping and stuff like that, but I think that's unlikely over here. I don't really see that coming. So it feels like we're basically in the most restrictive mode already,
Okay.
and things hopefully don't get worse from here. But who knows? I mean, can't predict the future, but it feels like we are on a good track right now. And also, Jane was on vacation last week, and she was lucky that she still could go on vacation. But apparently, in Russia, it's not that big of a problem yet. I think they're a little bit like maybe 2 weeks behind Germany or
Mm.
something like that. I don't know. Hard to judge,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
at least in terms of restrictions and laws and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
she got back to work yesterday on Monday, so we had our weekly kickoff call, and that was a perfect way to get back into work mode and just like have a conversation, talk about her vacation, talk about what's happening in Germany and Russia and around the world, and then
Yeah.
discuss, hey, what are we going to tackle this week, and make a plan. And that was so helpful. And I
Yeah.
like immediately after that call, I was motivated to keep going and to keep pushing forward and
Yeah.
make some progress. And yeah, that's what I did today, and hopefully we'll continue for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did another live streaming experiment earlier today. That was kind of fun. Just decided to live stream while I build a Node.js package for user list. So
Cool.
we had a customer request that over the weekend, and I was like, yeah, I should probably build it anyways. And then earlier today, I was like, let's let's milk this a little bit more. Let's do a live stream for this. And I just like just put it on YouTube and started working on
Okay.
it, and it was fun. Until I got stuck with again weird JavaScript ecosystem incompatibilities, and
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point I got frustrated and gave up for today. But yeah, it's amazing. Like the live stream,
Mm.
like having the live stream running is a good forcing function to stay focused. Because like before going live, of course I turn off everything, no Slack, no Twitter, no
Yeah.
email,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not tempted to open those during this live stream because I'm like, yeah, everyone's seeing my screen. I don't want the world to see my email inbox.
Yep. Yep.
So it was really easy to keep those closed and just stay focused and just work for. I think
Mm-hmm.
in total it was like 3.5 hours, something like that. So got a good chunk of work done in that
Nice.
time, and yeah, might do that a couple more times in this week, and let's see if there's a good task coming up next week, and yeah,
Mm-hmm. Have
we'll
you
see.
heard of Have you heard of something called FocusMate?
I have heard of it. Yeah, I haven't used it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
I've I've done a couple of sessions with it. This is back like I think November or December. The short of it is you show up on this site, they randomly partner you with, or you can schedule time to just your camera is on and their camera is on. And the
Mm-hmm.
idea is like just what you described. Like the world is watching, and so I don't want them to see my email, and I'm not just going to like mindlessly scroll through Twitter, and I'm not going to check Slack because the world is watching. Well, in FocusMate, it's just your FocusMate, and
Mm-hmm.
you meet up and they say, hey, I'm gonna try and study for this chemistry 2 exam, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to refactor this thing, and they're like, okay, I don't know what that means, good luck. And, um anyway, it's yeah it I haven't signed or haven't logged back in and scheduled a few, but I just as you were describing it there, I was thinking, yeah, maybe I should live stream some stuff to kind of give me that accountability or whatever. Because I'm struggling with a similar thing with Slack, Twitter, and email. Slack and Twitter, particularly, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of just there's the draw to, okay, what news has happened in literally the last hour. Things are
Yeah,
happening so
yeah.
quickly that there's this constant pull to check it, and I feel like I just want to change my password, write it on a sheet of paper, give it to my wife to hide, and like just bail out for a month and read the New
Mm-hmm.
York Times once a week, and that is all I need right now.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
what's your how are you thinking through your day-to-day use of Twitter and Slack and all that?
Um, so I basically started muting like everything Corona, COVID, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
last week. That already helped to reduce the length of my
Yeah.
timeline. And then I
Yep.
noticed at some point I just like I have it on my phone and on my Mac, and
Mm-hmm.
a couple times a day I would go in there and just scroll through everything until I'm back at the start, like at the top. And at some point I realized I would just go in there, scroll to top, be done with it. So I was on the Twitter diet more or less by accident because
Mm-hmm.
at some point I couldn't take it anymore and didn't care if there's I probably missed a couple nice nuggets here and there, but they were hidden in a lot of stuff that didn't help me at all. So
Super
I
ephemeral.
was like,
Yep.
okay, it's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
And it's still like I'm sometimes I can force myself to actually scroll through and read everything or at least scan everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still a lot of times I'm like, nah, 300 new messages. Ah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read those. And that has been helpful in keeping me sane, I guess. Because like yeah, reading all the crap that's happening and everyone's opinion on it wasn't helpful for me.
Yeah, everybody is an epidemiologist right now, and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, and there's well, whatever. I don't even want to get into that. Yeah, I don't want to do and get into like what I'm trying to keep myself out of. It's just like this
yeah,
constant
yeah, yeah,
playing of every scenario. So anyway, yeah, I would that's interesting, the idea of live streaming is particularly if you like calendar it for yourself or schedule it. That's all right. I'm gonna give that some thought. I can't exactly live stream client work though. Maybe I'll so I'll hop back into FocusMate. Maybe give that a look.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
so how
It's
did
tricky with yeah.
yeah. So you said you eventually got frustrated with the JavaScript ecosystem and gave up, but are you going to dive back in tomorrow feeling like you're like one last barrier to push through or several more to until you're ready?
There are two things that I need to do. And yeah, like the frustrating thing with all of this ecosystem thing is like I know my code is mostly working. It's almost there. Like I tested it against my like sending data to my test system that works. But the thing I struggled with was just like setting up the tests for this, like and mocking the HTTP call. So I'm not like when I run the automated test, not actually sending stuff to the server. And that part of those 3 hours, probably 1.5 hours was just like banging my head against this, and in the end, giving up and
Mm-hmm.
deleting everything, like not everything, but everything related to testing that particular piece of code. And
Mm.
I'll have to go back in there tomorrow and start with another approach and figure out how to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And that's just frustrating because I
Yeah.
know
It
like
feels.
the code I'm testing is correct, but for some reason the tests won't confirm that.
Yeah. Yeah. That can feel
Yeah.
frustrating and deflating. How
Yeah.
does the live stream thing on YouTube work? Is it now saved to your channel, or you can choose to not publish it, like just stream it live and then delete it, or how's that work?
Yeah. Um, I published it as an unlisted live stream, so it's not, you cannot find it on YouTube itself, but I can link
Yep.
to it. And I
Yep.
guess the recording is also up there, but as well, like it's not publicly accessible. But if you have the link, which I tweeted out,
Mm-hmm.
you can rewatch it. And then
Oh.
I don't know, maybe I'll keep them, maybe I'll delete them. I haven't really thought about that part yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. The um the other thing that I worked on a little bit last week and even like recorded a draft of, so I'll re-record it and publish it this week, is my attendee talk that I had submitted to MicroConf. So I finished that, and I mean, might as well um, publish it and put it out there. Um, I'm like
Maybe you
3 weeks.
should
Go ahead. Sorry.
maybe you should
Go
reach
ahead.
out to Xander or Rob on the MicroConf Connect Slack and just offer it as a talk to watch in the happy hours.
Yeah, yeah. Might as well. Yeah, for sure. Maybe I can take a look at it and uh, see what they think. Um, was the oh yeah, no, I'm like, I think I'm now 2 or 3 weeks behind on Bright and Early. Um, related to what you were saying about being able to focus and like, I just yeah, and I've got, I mean, I have an interview too, like recorded. I just need to record closing thoughts and publish them. One is with Amir Salih-Effendi, the CEO of Doist. I mean, hyper relevant right now, but just can't get myself to focus on it.
Mm.
And not to, yeah, well, whatever I was going to say, like, not to mention not wanting to be one of the 895,000 people who are pushing their remote work content at the moment. But uh
I'm a little bit tired of all those emails about, hey, here are our remote
yeah,
work tips, and
I
this is what you do when you work from home, or
I
even this is
know.
how you wash your hands. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another
Well, it was
100 person already told me that, and
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's I
yeah,
mean, you know, and it this like that interview was before like stuff got really serious worldwide.
yeah,
Um and he is just a very mindful, thoughtful person, leader. You can hear it. And the
mm-hmm.
company is like trying to optimize for user happiness, and focus, not trying to optimize for engagement and usage, which is what Slack and Twitter do. So it's a really
Yeah.
great interview. I just I'm just having trouble like getting myself to focus on it and get it published. And then I've got
Mm.
an interview with Arvid Kahl, um, who's has been putting out some really great stuff on bootstrapping and being a founder. So I want to get that one out there. Um, I need to, I don't know, I need to live stream myself editing that or something. I don't know.
Oh well, why not? Might be
Yeah,
interesting as well.
yeah. Live stream me recording closing thoughts 6 times and editing it and then publishing it. Yeah, that's what I'll do tomorrow. Oh heavens. What else? What else you got, man?
um. Oh yeah, we announced in-app messages to like early access to our existing customers, and we
Hey,
got like 6 or 7 people interested,
All right.
and
All
plan is
right.
to onboard them one by one later this week.
Cool.
And I also yesterday I finally invited that one customer that I basically talked about inviting for the last 3 weeks. And that finally happened yesterday.
All right.
So yeah, so far I think they haven't integrated it yet, but hopefully soon. And yeah, I'm excited. It's finally
All right,
moving
man.
forward.
Okay.
But I guess that's all. I think nothing else happened in the last couple of days.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's a big one. That's good. It's good.
Yeah, finally
good
making
step.
progress.
Good step. You've been making progress the whole time. It's been slow and steady.
Yeah, exactly. On brand.
Cool. You want to talk about next week's episode that you've got lined up for us?
Yeah. I hope it works out. Like, who knows? I had planned episodes in the past that for some reason then didn't work out, but plan is to have Tracy Osborne on next week and talk about the distracted founder and how to get back on track. And especially last week, it felt like super relevant.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So this was supposed to be her talk at FemtoConf, or it was one of the talks she suggested, and it sounded like this is a perfect time to talk about this. So she will be on next week, and we can talk about that.
I think a lot of people were nodding their heads along with, the distracted founder and getting back on track. Oh yeah, totes. I know someone.
I wonder
like
what her thoughts. Yeah, I know someone as well. I wonder what her thoughts are on that topic with the current situation, because when she suggested it, it still wasn't like this wasn't a problem yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we see.
Yeah, the severity and gravity of this particular class of distraction is unlike anything.
Yeah, very true.
It's different. Okay,
cool.
All right. Well, that's all I got, man. Anything?
Yeah, I remembered a joke that I didn't tell last week.
Oh, all right. Yes. Let's end it on a joke.
What's small and gets washed up to the shore?
Seashells, tiny fish.
A microwave.
Oh my gosh. That's... Oh boy. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a super stupid one, but I like it.
All right.
Yeah. That's it for this week, I guess.
It is. slowandsteadypodcast.com, on Twitter. If you haven't deleted your password, you haven't deleted your account yet, Slow Steady Pod. Talk to you next week.
Yep. See you. Bye.